Hello, real breaking news on Down the Donut Hole podcast. We couldn't get close to the airport where we're staying nearby because of suspicious luggage, and the traffic is backed up for miles. You might be able to hear the police sirens in the background.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody just...
So we had to get off of the bus because of a miles-long backup, and we're kind of walking through the grass.
Yeah, because they won't let us on the airport property, not even in the parking lot, cut through the parking lot. And so here we are hiking. Another plug for good quality shoes, guys. Oh boy.
Talking about shoes? You got an emergency going on. You're talking about shoe styles?
Yeah, because look at, what if I was clomping around in some little heeled clippity-clop shoe? I'm bushwhacking, and so are you. And so I'm really glad that we have sensible footwear. Now, if that's not an old lady thing to say, I don't know what is.
Well, we were talking about your dodgy-looking luggage. You didn't leave one of yours there, did you?
No, not at all. Let's cut over this way.
Okay, this may be a little bit weird of an addition here, but
yeah,
we thought we might as well roll the tape on this. There'll be a few gaps here and there, so hang with us.
All right, we can get. There's quite a police presence here. I want to find a sidewalk is what I want, but I think I want to get back to the hotel. But now I'm kind of turned around here.
Well, you've got like the big parking areas for the rental cars and all that. And we thought maybe we could cut through some of those, but they're all high fences all around it. So
yeah, no.
We're kind of like taking to the road that would be dangerous otherwise, but the traffic is all stopped.
Stop that down now. We got more cops up here.
I know that. That's why I'm holding my stick up here like that.
I know, but my God!
All right, get up off there.
All right, back to the road. We can't bushwhack through that.
Can't we get through there?
No.
Why?
And there's another nest of cops right here. So.
All right, hang on. We're gonna go.
All right.
Gonna go quiet a little bit.
Hotel, Ibis Hotel? Not this way.
The airport is closed.
The hotel.
No access. You can wait here, but you can't pass.
Okay.
So we can wait right here?
Right here, over here.
Over there?
There is a little shadow.
Merci.
Thank you. Go through and then I wonder what happens if you run over. Oh, there it goes. They're letting cars go through there.
Hang on a second. So,
yeah, that's where we want to be.
all right, we've been stopped by the police and told them that we've been told there was no access up that way, and gave us a nice shady spot. No, that you couldn't get to the hotel, he said.
No, they're letting cars through there.
Anyway, gave us a nice shady place to wait, but I think we see a way through the back lot, so to speak.
Yeah, we can walk this way. We're walking away from the airport.
Okay, he must not have completely understood, and I should have explained it in French.
Okay, good.
Duh.
And they're letting cars through here, so we can go too. All right, let's cross right now. We'll stay on this side from the airport. Wow, that's something you don't think about.
Well, do you see the gas station?
Yes.
Okay.
The gas station is painted bright yellow. which makes all the difference.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
See it?
Yeah.
There.
Wow.
We got our new sun hats, and we have our sensible shoes on, and we're hungry, so we want to go home. Yeah. Well, that's a little excitement.
Is that a plane coming in or going out, I wonder?
I don't know. They would be diverting those, would they not?
Well, they'd have to taxi them off a distance and then wait. Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, they are letting cars through in this direction, so we felt comfortable walking away from where the airport is.
Oh no, did we just escape from the police?
Well, I think they would have preferred that we stood in the shade. But
They told us where to go and to stand there and wait, and we just took off. Maybe that's a problem. I hope not.
I don't think so if they're letting cars go, but boy, the cars are backed up on the other side, getting away from the airport. I wonder if they've blocked off traffic in the direction up there. It almost looks like they have.
They probably managed to turn everybody around, probably.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think we should cross the street here because otherwise we're
Make sure you have a good view in both directions.
I will do. All right, up and over. There we go. And again, up and over. And now down. And here we go again. All right, now we're on the sidewalk to go home to our hotel. Heavenly days, that's exciting.
I think we successfully made an escape.
Yes.
They don't track us down later.
Those two old people.
Yeah.
It's a surprising life.
Yeah, wow, that's something. I hope everything's okay there, ultimately.
It's probably somebody just mislaid luggage. I've done it.
Yeah, but they're going to have some other reasons to think that it's suspicious. Besides random left luggage, they have some other information that
You mean like
would cause all of this.
having a sniffer dog?
Something like that, yeah. Or ticking noise in there or something.
Yeah.
It could just be somebody's clock. I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. We'll have to report in later after we get news of what's going on or how they resolved it. So we'll say goodbye for now and we'll keep you updated. This will probably be on tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Try to get more info. Okay, guys, we're back, and we're safely back in the hotel. And it looks like it was a false alarm. I'm just guessing, because everything cleared out pretty quick after we got in the hotel. And everything, the hubbub is now settled and all that, so that's good news. But yeah, was really something, wasn't it?
It was. What we decided then is to put that up because it's kind of interesting when something like that's totally unexpected. We were expecting just to hop off the bus, walk the short distance back to the hotel, and, just very uneventful, same old. But that is not what happened. And even at home, something like that comes up, and you have to change your plans in a big way, and you can be inconvenienced in a real way, too. And so I was joking, only half joking, really, about sensible shoes. I was so glad that I had the right footwear on, that I wasn't wearing flip-flops or anything like that. And I would have been tempted, too, to wear them because it's quite hot today. But because we wound up having to walk quite a bit on grass and, really...
Yeah, we knew it was really weird when the bus stopped and it was this normal traffic jam, right? But then all of a sudden he says, you're going to have to get out and walk. And we're thinking, what? What's going on here?
Yeah, I thought he wanted me to get out and see if I could see if traffic was coming. Do you realize that that's what I thought?
Yeah, I heard you say that, but then I thought
And he didn't correct
you
me.
thought maybe you had to go to the people who were stopped in front of you and thinking, hey, well, how long are you going to be parked here in the middle of the road?
I know. At first, we had no clue what was going on with that. But anyway, so we walked the long way around. They wouldn't even let us cross the parking lots. And so I'm certain that there's a lot of workers at the airport who are very concerned about their cars. But I bet this isn't all that rare of an occurrence.
Unfortunately, it does happen a lot in airports. This one, I think, I mean, we'll try to see the local news at some point, but I think probably it was a false alarm. Somebody's wind up ticking alarm clock or something.
I don't think it takes that. I get the impression that airports have dogs that come and sniff those kinds of packages, but who's to say whether they live at the airport? They should live at the airport, but they might be down at the precinct or something and have to be transported. But there were a lot of sirens, a lot of cops. I'm impressed with how quick they had security out in the parking lots, blocking the whole access to the airport off. There was no way you could get in there. And they were nice about it. You know, they were very nice about it. And so we did that. Anyway, I think we'll just kind of give you a recap instead of trying to cut this into our normal podcast. I think we'll just give you a recap on what our day has been so far. And so we'll just go back to the beginning.
So we went to the airport for breakfast this morning, and I had a really nice croissant with framboise pâté. And thank you very much for choosing that, actually. What did you have? I forgot.
I had a blueberry muffin. Here they call them myrtles, M-Y-R-T-L-E. And so that was beautiful. It was nice and puffy and light and just beautiful. I had that with a cup of café au lait, and you had hot tea.
Yeah, what was that? Do you still have that tag? Because that was really good. This is just so smooth.
Yeah, I think I do. I took the little tag off the tea bag and threw it in my purse so we'll remember. And, God, it'll be anybody's guess whether it ever gets retrieved out of there in one piece.
Right. And after that, we made our way back outside, trying to decide if we were going to get the shuttle bus into town because we were still tired, into the city center. And we sort of had the decision made for us because the bus driver was up there and sitting there. I think he kind of spotted us and thought, you know, he waited anyway. And so we thought, okay, I guess we're going into town.
Yeah. So, and we needed to buy hats. Dave forgot his hat home. Usually it's me that forgets stuff like that, but this time it was him, and I won't let him forget that. And so we thought, well, we'll go in. Normally there's like a tourist marché. It's like vendors under cabanas, and they usually have one set up there all the time. Sometimes it's larger than other times. Toward the weekend it gets larger, and on market day it gets larger. But I'm not sure what day is market day in Montpellier, because that's always there. And so I've been here a lot during the week, and you can count on it. Today that market was a little bit small, I thought. But we were both able to buy hats from the same vendor. Dave bought a baseball-style hat, which isn't his favorite. He prefers something with a little bit broader brim in the back, too, so the back of his neck doesn't get sunburned. And it's really important when you're traveling to make sure that you have a good hat. And one of the things with the baseball hats is, the back of your neck can get very sunburned. But do they blow off your head as much as the other ones do, the Aussie hats and that shape?
No, there's not quite as much surface area there, so it's just in the front. But it's true. The back of the neck is an issue, and of course you can turn them around. People think you're trying to be cool or something with a turned around hat, but it does protect the back of your neck. So that was good. Also,
the tops of your ears is an issue if you have a short haircut. So I've seen people that put like a bandana or something in, just flattened out bandana in under their baseball cap, and let that hang down, use it so that the points are toward the back. And that's legit, especially if you're walking great distances, because if you get seriously sunburned, you're not doing yourself any good. And it will diminish the joy you can take out of your holiday or your visit someplace, because you'll be working on trying to, make sure that your sunburn isn't as painful as it would be otherwise.
You can put the joy back in by shopping, and shopping you did.
I did. I bought a dress today. I bought some other stuff to take home. It's always fun to go through those shops and that. I don't go to shopping centers very often at all. I mean, really, a few times a year. And so it's very enjoyable for me to do that. It's something very different, very, out of the ordinary, which makes things more pleasurable. I think if you have to run there for every little thing or you shop all the time, it's not as much fun. And I do encourage people to go there. Don't do all your shopping online, even though, for convenience sake, I think that's great. But it's important to keep those businesses in business and to touch the, if it's clothing, to touch the cloth, understand what you're buying. And because that's a healthy economy. If it isn't all, owned by one big owner, it's nice to have the diversity and the diverse products, and the way they're presented is always fun. So that was great today. I really enjoyed it.
Was that a French designer dress you bought for 18 euros? It seemed like that's a pretty good price.
It was 18 euros, and it would have been way more expensive than that. I don't believe a French designer dress, but a nice brand. The tag on it was ripped. And so I got that dress for 18 euros. And that was great. Everything else in the store was massively high priced. And so I felt like I really lucked out. That's probably, maybe it didn't get stitched in very well. And so they just let the dress go. But it's something I really like. And I think I've talked about having a travel capsule wardrobe. Mine is black and white. I sort of stick to that. And then if you have a pretty shawl or you buy some colorful top or something, it's everything goes with everything. It's a lot of movable parts on that, which I really like. And this dress that I bought happens to be black and white. And so I figured when I saw that it was black and white dress, I thought, oh, this is a sign. I must have this. And so I went ahead and got it. And so that was a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you a story this morning. I'll backtrack to breakfast a little bit. We were both very tired. We did get to lie down last night and have a proper night's sleep, which helped a lot. We were jet lagged, kind of waking up weird times and that sort of thing. So when we went over to the airport, where we know we can they have this beautiful bar of like breakfast things, croissants, all of that. And it's very nice, nicer than, the idea of airport food would be. This is nice, and it's a small airport, so it's not, there's not a whole bunch of different choices of where else to go. But that one serves the bill, and they do a good business in there, and they're nice. But I went blundering in there this morning. I picked out the raspberry croissant for Dave. I got myself the blueberry muffin. I got the tea. I got the coffee. I bought a small bottle of wine for later, one of those little pony bottles. I like to keep those, especially if I'm in France. And then if you're in a little park or something, you can have just, kind of a fanciest lunch. And so I bought that, and I go up there. And I said I wanted tea. Lady goes, bonjour. And it didn't register with me. She said it a second time. And then it clicked with me. I never greeted her. I didn't say anything. And I realized how really rude and insensitive that is to not greet the person that's going to serve you. Because this shouldn't be a transaction between a big company and a customer. This should be a transaction between two human beings, two people. And so I felt very, very badly about that, and I apologized profusely. And I will be much more conscious next time, and always, if I can. I will not cut myself slack because I was jet lagged. There's too much of slack cutting when it comes to just proper courtesy. And I think I'll hold myself to account, and I will do better. So that was eye-opening. And that's one of the little things with travel, too, that I think is eye-opening. Now, I know it's common to just go into the big chain grocery stores and that. You don't even really think about it. And almost it's surprising if the same person is behind the counter next week when you go there. It's just, a person, but not somebody you get to know in a lot of those places. And so it's very faceless, very impersonal. And here it's not that way. When you walk into a shop, you call out a greeting, bonjour, and when you leave, you thank them. They thank you. And I really like that.
Isn't it au revoir?
Au revoir. Yeah,
Merci, au revoir.
Merci, au revoir.
Or you can even add a bonne journée, which means have a good day.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that. All the time they do that. And they go out of their way to help. And I think that's so sweet. When we came in, this hotel uses the key cards. And we've been in many hotels that use the key cards. But this hotel is unique, or the first time, at least for us, that we've encountered the necessity of using that key card to operate an elevator. So you have to do it tapping on this little button on the elevator to get the elevator to allow you to make your selection. So I couldn't figure it out. I tried, tapping it and all of this, but it turns out I was doing it backwards. The card was backwards. And so I asked the lady at the front desk, and she came and showed me and was very sweet about it. Didn't make me feel like I was putting her out terribly. And so that was also a nice experience. What else have we been doing? I love walking around the streets in these towns. They're very narrow, medieval streets. And yet cars do pass down them. Not steady streams of cars, not household traffic. Usually those medieval streets where the little businesses are located on both sides, including, I might say, little sidewalk cafes with little tables, the little bistro tables with people sitting outside. Delivery trucks go up and down those streets on a regular basis, and they drive appropriately, slowly, watching for people, darting in and out of the shops. But the thing I found most impressive, and I didn't see it this trip, this was on a previous trip that we took, we signed up to go on one of those tour bus things. It's like a trolley kind of thing. And that you put on the headset and select the language you want to hear the tour spiel. And then the driver drives up and down these little streets, these skinny little streets. And I was so impressed because he drove appropriately. You didn't feel scared or anything like that. But many times you could have reached out and touched people that were sitting in the little chairs at the bistro tables in the cafes. And mostly they were so nice. I mean, the people were wishing everybody a nice trip and, giving people the thumbs up and welcoming smiles. And I thought how very, very hospitable that was. And certainly that enhances your enjoyment of things. So that. We went inside the Church of St. Roch, which is a beautiful Catholic church built on the site of another church. I believe the Church of St. Paul was built on that site previously. But this one dates from the late 1800s. It's a lovely church, lots of stained glass, lots of polished wood, and the quiet in those places is just amazing.
So that's not really old.
Not terribly old, no. But there has been a church on that site forever. You know, back from, I think, the 1300s, something like that. Maybe even earlier. So that was very nice. Dave got to have his favorite yogurt.
Went to the Yogurt World store. We had to go. We had to. But anyway, back on the delivery trucks, I thought it was kind of funny because mainly they're like pedestrian walkways, but the delivery trucks, have to drive up there, and it's essentially single track. And they just quietly, sort of get in the queue with the people, and they're just going real slow. And instead of having the horns being beeped at you to get out of the way, they don't do that. They just sort of act like a pedestrian. So it was kind of different, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it, I think. I believe that there's a festival going to be happening this weekend because there's a buzz about the place, even more than normal. And there were several street musicians out playing and singing, and that was really nice. I enjoyed that. It seems more charming if there's a soundtrack to it other than just cars and people talking and that.
Yeah, maybe we'll go check that out again. It looks like vendors, or maybe almost something between vendors and flea market thing happening, and the pre-setups and all that.
Well, a lot of what I shopped today, the stores, all the little shops, the boutiques, all of that, had racks outside of clearance items. And that is always fun, and because a lot of the shops, for me, unless I'm pretty serious about maybe buying something, I usually don't go in the shops, but I do a lot of window shopping. Once in a while, certain types of shops I'm more apt to go in. I like glassware, dishes, that sort of thing. I go in those shops. I go in toy shops usually, or little shops that have a lot of items that aren't very costly. Like some of the dress shops, I can't pay those prices for stuff. And so I just don't go in, and especially if they're a smallish boutique, because I don't want to pretend that I'm going to buy something if I'm not. So I avoid those, except I do look in the windows, and I enjoy that very much. And like I've said before, some of the stuff is really inspirational. So
you bought some tiny little gifts. If you're traveling and want to keep your luggage low in weight and in size, then a bunch of little stuff that you can kind of stuff in around the edges.
Yes. We looked at luggage itself. Dave is trying very hard to convince me to travel. We stay here for months, This isn't just an overnight or a week or anything. We're here a few months. And he thinks that I should be able to go with just an underseat bag.
Yes, it will set you free. I set myself free some years ago, and the utter joy that you feel about traveling so light, and you don't ever have to worry about, did I pay for an overhead? Should I have? Did it get reflected on the boarding pass and all this other stuff? Because some of the airlines, usually it's regional airlines that do that. The overseas carriers, usually most of them, as far as I know, they don't charge you for an overhead, but only the checked bag. But most of the regional ones try some method of getting you to pay for the overhead bag. But if you don't need that, and the other thing too is a lot of times, if the flight's really busy, it's hard to find a spot to put your bag up there, even if you paid for it. And the other thing with when you're forced to, sometimes what happens then if they don't have enough overhead space, that they force you to check it. They don't charge you for that usually, but then you've got to go chasing it down. If it's a big airport, that chews up a lot of time. And, that's another consideration. If you never have an overhead, then obviously that's not going to happen. But not having to worry about that, it just takes a lot of stress off, when you're going through to the gate and security and all that. You just kind of know that you're going to just sit in the chair, put your main bag under the seat in front of you. And some of the little tricks and stuff we've been talking about what I do is a couple of, it used to be just one, but you can wear 2 fanny packs. You don't pack very thick so they don't stick out too much. And then I always have a travel coat that has zippered pockets and all that in it. And you kind of wear the coat over that so nobody can actually see that you have something extra. And it's worked for me every time. I've never had a problem with it. And also it's easier to get through security to get everything out of your pocket before you go through the detector, and just throw all that on the belt, including your coat and all that stuff, because they don't care. They don't keep track of whether you're supposed to have X bags or not when you go through security, of course. So they don't care. It just has to pass through there. But believe me, it's the difference is night and day. You just feel like you're just walking normally, and you don't have to be concerned about any delays in terms of getting on the plane or where to put your overhead bag if it's full.
Yeah, getting shook down at the TSA. Dave was carrying equipment that we could work on this podcast and some other projects that we have teed up. And he scooted right through the TSA. I had headphones that are monitors so that you can hear what you were saying into a microphone.
Yeah, that's like the ones that the performers use on stage. In-ear monitors, they call them.
No, I had those too.
You're talking about something different.
I'm talking about the black headset that I use.
Oh, okay.
It's a hard headset. It's not very big. It's about the size of the ones that they give you on the airplane. Not buds. I don't like earbuds very much.
Well, that's what the in-ear monitors are essentially that,
Yeah,
but they're professional.
Too. I have those too. Anyway, they searched my bag at one of the airlines, the last one, and they went through it with a fine-tooth comb and asked me questions about that. And she said, "Those are for musicians." And I said, "I know they are." And whether she thought I stole them or that it was an impossibility that maybe I would need a pair of headphones that could monitor something happening with the microphone, I don't know what the deal was.
Why do I think we already talked about this on one of our podcasts? I don't know if we did or not.
That was today.
But was that them saying that, you're older, so you're probably not a musician or whatever? And I was going to say, no, she's a rapper.
Yeah, I'm a rapper, all right. Anyway, so there's him over there with all that other equipment. He gets through no bother. There's me with just a suspicious headphone set. I'm talking the ones that are like a hairband kind of thing. And so I'm wondering what the deal with that was.
You look shifty. I think it's what it is. I mean, you kind of your eyes darting back and forth, and beads of sweat on your forehead, and looking around nervously.
Now, another thing that I had that I think was confusing to them was, and this makes me laugh because I was thrilled to pick it up at one of a fair, a little county event. One of the banks was handing out these travel straws, personal straws. They were stainless steel and telescoping. And so you can have that in your purse, and it has a little case that it fits in, and that has a little carabiner type clip. So you can clip that somewhere in case you want to have a sip of somebody's milkshake or something like that. You can whip that out and help yourself and not be prevented for want of a straw. So I carry that, and I have a little set of fork, knife, spoon, and it also has chopsticks that break in half, and then they fit in this little plastic case. It's not a very big case, so it's really a handy thing to have.
Those are kind of weapons, though, aren't they? And I'm not sure.
It's plastic.
I'm not sure why you need a telescoping metal straw. I mean, is that so that, like, if the person sitting next to you turns their head, you can kind of get over there and get a bit of their drink or their milkshake or whatever?
No, I can get a bit of yours. Anyway, well, a lot of that stuff. Now, for us, one of the reasons that I think it's important to have those things is if you've ever ordered, like, food delivery to a hotel room or something like that. It comes and there's no silverware, or lots of times we go to like a street festival or something like that, but the food portions are so huge, it's enough for the two of us. We don't want to buy two of anything, and sometimes those plastic silverware, I'm not really keen on that. A lot of it is just too flimsy, it's not very good. And if you have a chicken dinner, let's say a fried chicken dinner or a grilled chicken dinner or something like that, the fork needs to be substantial enough to be able to pull that meat, or cut certain things. And so I just keep that in my backpack for when we go off on our outings. And then it's very easy for us to share one meal. And the straw, too. I carry one of those. It's one of those folding cups for travel. It's a coffee cup kind of thing, and it's, collapses into itself. So I have those three things. And that straw, I haven't really used that a bunch, but I thought it was quite wonderful, and I got it for free. And it has the advertising for this bank that passed those out. But for some reason, it never occurred to me that would be some sort of a problem. So I think the monitor headset, the telescoping straw, what else there was one other thing that she...
Yeah, and here I had like two other in-ear monitors, one in my coat pocket and one in the bag, and they didn't give me any trouble.
And the recorder.
That's because I didn't seem too shifty.
The recorder and the little editing thing. And there's you standing over there smiling, and I'm sweating bullets while they're going through my bag for, there were two people going through it. And I'm thinking, I've been already through a number of airports with the same configuration of stuff. So the point of origin to New York, from New York to the first airport, from there to the second airport, and I was leaving the second airport when this shakedown happened.
I'm afraid they were going to haul you off for a while there, because there was like two or three people going in and out, and they're coming over, and they were pushing something over there. I thought, oh boy. Boy.
You were hoping. Oh, gee, it's kind of a sad thing they had to haul her off like that.
Yeah, well, I'll take that stuff, though. She probably won't need that where she's going.
See?
I come visit you, though, don't worry.
Sure you would. I wouldn't want you to, you varmint. Anyway, there he was, smiling his face off. He always goes through. I do not. One time he sent me through with an air mattress. It was brand new, deflated air mattress, and it was a big, big problem at the Canada border. We were on a bus or something, and they pulled over for the customs inspection. Apparently, the reader, the machines, couldn't penetrate this folded up air mattress.
Oh my goodness. That's not good. If it can't get through air.
There was no air. It was, collapsed on itself and very dense and heavy. And he specifically asked me to put that in my luggage because he didn't have room in his. So there I was, shook down again. I don't know.
Oh my. Oh well. Yeah. See what you can do to stop looking so dodgy.
How dodgy do I look? I don't know. I'll have to spend some time studying my countenance in the mirror and make improvements. But maybe I need to shop for new clothing. Maybe I just...
You did do that, yes.
Yeah, I'll just keep...
I'm sure that we have not seen the end of that.
Either that or I'm going to have to go in with a full-on facelift or other corrective stuff. Anyway, we'll let you go with this report. And everybody's safe and well, and I think somebody just forgot their bag at the airport. So do if you're traveling, keep track of your stuff, because you don't want them to have to shut down the whole airport and stop traffic and close off the parking lots because you forgot your cosmetic bag or something. So
tomorrow's Friday. We're going into town again, so maybe we'll find something freaky and weird to talk about.
We'll try. I can't think of anything offhand, but we'll try.
Well, in medieval cities, I'm sure there's something.
Yeah, probably. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Down the Donut Hole podcast. We're glad we're safe. We hope you are too. And do count your blessings, because there really are a lot of them.